I gave up caring about normal life and normal existence and everything that involves many, many years ago.
I remember waking up in the morning and that's the first thing I thought of is, oh no, what have I done?
You just want to forget about your problems and the issues that you can't seem to resolve in your life.
I've got nothing else to do. I can't concentrate, can't even watch TV. I don't want to get out of bed. But at the same time, I know that I'll be back the next day. So in a way, I really don't care.
I felt like it was all that was left in my life, but it was the thing that was actually destroying everything at the same time.
It all started when I was 17 and I moved out with a boyfriend, and he kept saying, do you want to go down to the pokies? And I wasn't really interested, but this one day I thought, all right, shut up about these bloody pokies.
Started as social outings through different work dues. We used to go on bus trips to Coomialla or Wentworth and just stayed the weekend at the clubs there. So, you know, we had our first taste of poker machines.
I remember even before I turned 18, I used to go to pubs for dinner with my family, and they would, you know, give us a couple of coins when we ordered dinner. They used to have these vouchers. You can have $2 to play the pokies with. For me, it sort of started like initially, even before I turned 18, watching my parents get that and Dad coming out saying, oh, you know, I won.
Basically, I was trying to help a friend out of a casino. She was losing a lot of her husband's money, including her own. And she offered me $5 one day to play a machine alongside of her. And after several months of basically turning her down, I gave into it, thinking that, you know, no harm could come to me. And I got hooked straight away because I had a win.
I never thought that I'd become addicted to gambling on the pokies because I never thought they were addictive in the first place. I thought that they were a little bit of fun and entertainment.
I think I first realised that I had a gambling problem on the pokies when it started to consume pretty much every aspect of my life.
I didn't care about winning, I didn't care about losing, I didn't care about myself, I didn't care about anyone else.
For me, it was just my entire existence. It wasn't a particular trigger or a particular event that made me think, oh, that's it, I'm off to the pokies. It's all I actually did.
Anytime I had money, it wasn't a specific thing that had to happen. It was just anytime I had money, I had to go race down there and see if I could win.
I was waking up in the morning thinking about playing the pokies, thinking about rushing down to the venues when it was the last thing that I used to do before I'd go to sleep at night, and when it basically consumed every other aspect of my life throughout the day.
It was just walk in, grab a beer, grab some coins, sometimes just sit down on the first machine and, you know, while away the time.
I'd start with small amounts of money and I'd start with small bets. But as soon as I found a machine was responsive, I'd start to up my bets thinking that I could, you know, get some sort of big win.
I was instantly hooked as soon as I touched that button.
Well, my routine was all the time. I didn't have a routine where I gambled between certain hours or certain days of the week or after certain events or anything like that. For me, my routine kicked in after I finished gambling. So gambling on the pokies always come first. Didn't matter what else was on the horizon or whether I was meant to be at work or whether I was meant to catch up with someone. My routine was always, you know, gambling on the pokies first and normal life came second.
You wake up in the morning and you realise how much money you've lost, but the scary part is you really don't worry about it because you know you're going to go back the next day.
It's just, it's a cycle. You could win one day out of 30 or 40, but for me, I just reached a point where there was no point even winning anymore because anything that I won ended up turning into a loss because I would put all the winnings back in, plus more and more. So it's a really hazy memory in terms of trying to remember what's better, winning or losing, because even when you win, you're a loser.
There are many times when I just don't care about my life. Gambling is so seductive and produces even more low self-esteem in a person when you're already depressed or down.
You know, it's a continuous, when you're addicted to something, it's a continuous spiral where you'll feel happy because you've won once, and then you'll keep chasing that feeling, but you're just exposed to, you know, 50 or 100 losses along the way to gather that one feeling back again. So it just becomes a giant web of emotions along the way. So I don't even know what's better, winning or losing.
And yeah, there's many times when you come away thinking that it's not the money that you lose, it's how you're spending the time, and you just want to forget about your problems and the issues that you can't seem to resolve in your life.
I think for the last probably 5 years of playing the machines, I had got to a point where I didn't even care. The only thing I cared about was actually continuously trying to find a way to get back in, or a way to find more money, you know, to go and play the machines with. I gave up caring about normal life and normal existence and everything that involves many, many years ago.
I had all these bills coming in and I had them all laid out on the table, and I realised that I didn't even have $5. I didn't have any money at all for anything, and I didn't know what to do. I started having an anxiety attack and I started pacing up and down, and I pushed all the bills onto the floor, and I thought, what am I doing? I don't know what to do. I have to stop this.
You know, that feeling that you had, you know, you had been in contact with everyone, you'd already borrowed money from, you know, everybody that was basically left in your life at that point. You knew that there was absolutely no way of getting any more money, no way of obtaining any more finances. You just really felt like everything was already ruined and there was no one else to turn to. So probably my lowest moment was the last time I played. I'd just been paid. I'd worked the whole fortnight again. I had so many things to pay. It was just literally overwhelming. And I went to the pokies at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just driving, and I spent my whole pay in about an hour. And I remember just driving home on that night, just thinking, you know, about whether I still wanted to be here anymore, because I just couldn't imagine life without playing, because it's all that I felt like it was all that was left in my life, but it was the thing that was actually destroying everything at the same time. So my lowest point was definitely, you know, just driving home that night from the venue thinking, you've done it again. You know, how could you do it again? Feeling like you've got nobody to turn to anymore, and just feeling like, you know, you've completely ruined your life and really only kind of seeing one way out. My lowest point was probably just the way it had affected my mind so much that I had got myself into that position. So, you know, that cold sort of like chilly night, like driving home, thinking, you know, like your fuel lights on, how you're going to get to work in the morning, what are you going to eat this fortnight, you know, there's no one left to borrow off, like, you know, just that whole web of feeling was definitely the lowest point.
I went to a counselling service, and I went there for financial advice, and I was basically told a story by the counsellor that in a community where you know, there was various types of social problems, gambling addictions amongst people was considered the worst sort of evil.
It's like a journey. There was so many, I call them downs. There were so many downs along the way. Like, I mean, when you're playing pokies to the extreme that I was, of course, there's going to be numerous downs as you sort of go down that path.
I thought about getting help for about 4 years. And then I rang Pokies Anonymous and I went to a meeting.
Because the addiction was so powerful and it was so strong, I didn't really do a lot about it during the initial period because it was challenging to reach out and, you know, seek help for the problem because the addiction was so strong.
I started losing money and I never really worried too much about it because I was in a world of my own, so I didn't even do anything about it at the start. I just thought, okay, I'm a man, I can get over it.
And I went and sought help, with Relationships Australia, saw a counselling service that offered group counselling with other people.
I didn't really know of all the services that were actually available. I mean, no one spoke to me about any offers of assistance or anything like that, so I wasn't fully aware of what assistance was out there.
The reason why I didn't reach out for help is because I was embarrassed to say that I had a problem because of what people would think.
Having a gambling addiction is particularly riddled with guilt and shame, particularly when you've got moral values that you've been brought up with from your family. I come from a fairly strong family with strong religious beliefs, so it was particularly hard on me because of that, and worried about the stigma attached to gambling. No other member of my family has ever gambled, so yeah, it was really self-destroying.
A gambling addiction is very shameful because you've got to admit to your friends and your family that you are addicted and you don't know how to stop.
I definitely think having an addiction to gambling, and particularly the pokies, is quite shameful. I think, even when I've sort of opened up or told people about it that are close to me, I've had responses of like, well, why don't you just stop? Like, why do you keep going back? Like, just don't walk through the door. It's shameful because it has a whole lot of stigma around it where people believe that it's an individual's choice to, go down that path in life and play the machines. Like, yes, it's a physical choice for you to sit there and hit the buttons, but for me, I feel like it wasn't a choice. So I think that it is shameful because people look at you and people think like, why don't you just stop? Are you an idiot? You're a moron. You can't win at those things. Why are you playing? Like, there's that whole, it is shameful because people don't understand how the addiction actually works. It's shameful as well because of, the existence that it leads you on and how you end up.
I find that boredom and loneliness are the triggers for me to go gambling because I've got nothing else to do. I can't concentrate, can't even watch TV, and I'll just jump up, hop in the car and go and gamble.
Having no work was a big trigger. Feeling bored, feeling lonely, feeling lessful with life and directionless because of, again, no work or no good structure in my life.
And use it as a form of hiding out of anyone's way.
I've heard other people say that the triggers are when they're sad or an event happens in their life. For me, it was just everything. Like, I could be over the moon happy, I could be sad, I could be depressed. Nothing could have happened at all. For me, it was just my entire existence. It wasn't a particular trigger or a particular event that made me think, oh, that's it, I'm off to the pokies. It's all I actually did. It was like my whole life. So I just believed that my mind was so obsessed and so hooked on the product that I didn't need the triggers. I just gambled continuously.
As most addicts will tell you, you're never free. It's just a lifelong battle, and you've just got to hope that your family and friends will help you out through the hard times.
I called my mum and I told her the truth, and that's the first time I actually told anyone the truth ever, and it felt really good.
I've been gambling for a very long time on the pokies, pretty much since the day I turned 18, so it's really hard to, I guess, even feel what life feels like without it. But I'm doing really, really well recently. That moment that I described before was the last time that I played the pokies. Since then, so much has happened. I just have, I guess you would say, started a new life. Started progressing my future to get what I deserve out of life without having to, be addicted to those machines. It's more than one feeling. Like, I feel more calm, I feel more happy, I feel less stressed, I feel less frantic, less continuously having so many thoughts running through my brain, less fatigued as well, and I feel more determined.
When I'm not gambling, I feel much relieved, and I feel I have much more options open to me because I have money, and I feel more happy with myself and can catch up with friends and family and do things. And providing I keep on track and have some structure in my life, it makes a world of difference.
If I known it would feel this good, I would have stopped gambling years before I did. I feel free, I feel like an honest person, and I feel like I've really got something to contribute to society, and I feel that I can really help others with this addiction.
I'm hopeful that one day I will be free of gambling addiction to pokies. However, it'll depend on whether I can get some realistic goals happening in my life.
I feel quite good actually if I'm not gambling, because it means that I'm not wasting my time or my money in front of a poker machine, and hopefully I'm doing something productive.
I'm definitely free from my addiction from poker machines. I feel free, and I'll always be free as long as I don't press that button.
I don't think I will ever be free. I think that when they exist on every, it feels like every street corner, when there's big signs and big promotions to encourage people, when when you even go on your lunch break and you walk past 4 or 5 venues, I don't think I'll ever be free from it. I think I'll be more aware, more accepting of that they're there, and have a better ability to combat what I'm going to do to get past that hour or that particular day. I don't think I'll ever be free. Like, it's been a huge part of my life. It's really shaped me into the person I am today. So I won't be free, I'll just be more mindful.
What I'd want changed is the deceptive features taken out of the machines, the losses disguised as wins, the near misses to make the product not so misleading to the gamblers.
That prey on the lonely, the bored people, and the people who have got nothing to live for.
There's no such thing as really big wins in poker machines, so I'd like all that hype to be banned. I'd like to see venues, the lighting in venues increase to normal lighting, so that there's no dimming down of the lights to bring people into that seductive scene of forgetting about time and forgetting what they're doing in the venues, because that's extremely destructive and addictive.
They're designed to addict, and they're designed to trap you, and they're designed for addiction.
I'd like to see poker machines outlawed because they're a scourge. It's too easy to just go in there. I would like to see more and better facilities for helping gamblers and more awareness.
Definitely more assistance for people that experience this problem. To actually reach out and get help seems like a mission itself. You hear of programs like Gambling Care and staff within venues being trained to intervene when people experience signs of problem gambling and everything like that. Well, I gambled on the machines for over 12 years and spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It would have been going up to the counter over and over again, cashing in $300, and nobody ever, not even once, ever come and spoke to me.